Hey, what's up, everybody? In an era where generative AI and deepfakes are becoming the norm, the question of, is this real, is more relevant than ever. As creatives, we need a way to show our work and prove our process. Today, I'm going to walk you through a few critical features in Adobe Photoshop called Content Credentials Beta. I'll show you how to enable it. I'll show how it tracks your edits like digital breadcrumbs when we build out a cinematic portrait. And most importantly, I'll show you how to verify that authenticity once the file is exported. Let's get to work. All right, I've opened up this generative AI image. Now, I don't normally go straight to generative AI images, but I wanted to point out that when you save a generative AI image from Adobe Firefly, these content credentials are actually already placed onto that file. This is becoming more of the standard as we work, again, to prove if an image was digitally manipulated. So now that I have this element here, let's go ahead and enable our content credentials. To do so, we're going to go to Edit, and we're going to go down to Preferences. Now, if you're on a Mac, you're going to just click on your PS icon up there, but we're going to go to Edit Preferences because we're on a PC, and look for History and Content Credentials. When I click on that, I want you to go ahead and make some changes. We can either enable saved documents with content credentials or enable for new and saved documents for content credentials. I have mine set for the middle one. And then you can either publish this to the cloud or you can attach these credentials to the file that is a JPEG or PNG. So I have mine set for that, and I'm going to hit OK. Now at this stage, if you haven't done that already, go ahead and restart your Photoshop and come back in with the image of your choice. All right. Now that we're back, we need to turn on the recording of our content. This is kind of like recording digital breadcrumbs. To do this, go to the window, Content Credentials Beta, and that will open your Content Credentials panel, where you can see the status of your current document. We want to go ahead and click Enable Content Credentials, and we have two tabs, Setting and Preview. When we look at the Settings tab, we want to ensure that edits and activity are being recorded, so make sure you check that box. And then in Preview, this will basically show what elements happened here. We opened the file, we may have made some other edits to the preferences, and then you can even see here that Firefly was already used, so it marked that when we exported this from Firefly. It even has my name. Again, these are stored in Adobe's cloud, so these are kind of really hard to change in the long run. All right, now that I have this set up and everything looks good, let's go ahead and get to editing. So to start to edit this AI portrait of myself, I want to separate the subject and the background. So I'm going to drag my layer to the new layer icon and let go to make a duplicate. I'm going to select my subject, hitting the select subject in the contextual taskbar. And in that taskbar, I'm going to use the masking tool, which is essentially going to separate me from the background. Now, I want to have a little fun with this particular portrait. So let's go ahead and go down to our new fill or adjustment layer. And I'm going to select solid color. And for this, we're going to pick kind of a reddish color. And we're going to set this to overlay. We can even do multiply here. We'll do multiply to start. And notice that gives me a mask. So I'm going to just click once on the white mask. Make sure my elements are set from black to white. And we want to pull over that red into the scene. So I'm going to just kind of pull out that. Remember, black conceals, white reveals. So the black being over here means there'll be no red on the stage. And so I'm going to pull that to about my nose. That looks really good. And then we're going to repeat that on the other side by adding another solid color. This time, we'll go ahead and we'll make it bluish. Perfect. And we're going to do the same thing, get our gradient tool, select our mask, pull that out on the other side, just kind of meeting in the middle, and we will do the blend mode set to multiply. There we have it. And I kind of like actually overlay here, so we're going to kind of play with that overlay just a little bit. This gives me more of a devious kind of look here. It gets kind of tech noir style, but things are looking really good. I also want to add some elements in between the backgrounds and my isolated figures. So I'm going to go to File, and we're going to go to Place Embedded, and I have two stock photos, one of fog and one of kind of dust, and we're going to place that in. So we're going to take this here, and we're going to just pull that out. and pull it in between the two elements. But you can go ahead and adjust those masks as you see fit. This is looking really good. Let's go ahead and do that one more time, and then we'll show you the content credentials. So let's place embedded one more time. We have kind of this upside down looking dust. That looks really cool. Let me hit enter, and let me go through and just figure out what really style fits the way I want it. That's a little too dark. Let's do that, and let's just turn that down ever so slightly. Awesome. All right. Now, we could also add generative elements to this. We could continue to edit. The real reason I wanted to show you this is if we go back to content credentials, check this out. We have more options. Now, if I scroll down, it actually shows the history of those two stock photos that were used to make this image. Now, we all know this is a completely fake image. It's pretty obvious this wasn't done practically, but a common viewer may not know that. So it's really important to have these elements here. So now that we've created this, and now that the person can see exactly what was added and what was original, we can go ahead and export our digital receipt. To do this, we're going to close this down, and we're going to go to File, Export, Export As. Now here, you're going to open up your image, and you're going to set it to either JPEG or PNG. I have mine set to JPEG. And I have a couple of options here. I can turn on my metadata, so my copyright or contact info, but an important part here is to make sure that you select either publish to the cloud or attach the content credentials for content authenticity to this element. So I'm going to check attach to file, and I'll hit preview. That just shows me that window we've been looking at. Awesome. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit export. Now, let's verify. So to prove it works, we're going to head over to a website, and this website is verify.content-authenticity.org. So again, verify.content-authenticity.org. This is, again, a trusted site. You're going to start seeing these CRs popping around everywhere. And this is a public tool that can help anyone check the receipt of an image. So to do this, I'm going to click on this square, and I'm going to drag my ready to review and hit open. And when I pull that up, immediately it will pull up an overview of my files, and it will show me even down to the number of reference images I used for the AI generation, which is pretty wild. So think of these as the specific ingredients, including those smoke and fog layers, and again, the timeline of the different edits. So you can kind of go through and see this. Now, you can also use a compare function. So if you're not getting content credentials and you want to drag another image or import another image in here because you think somebody may have used similar assets, you can do that and do this side-by-side comparison. You can even do a slider, which is pretty cool, and see the images compared next to each other if you want to, again, verify that. So using these content credentials isn't about limiting our creativity. In the end, it's really about claiming ownership of your process in a digital world. This is a powerful tool for educators, journalists, and digital artists alike. So go ahead and try to enable this on your next edit and see how it changes the way you view your finished files. If you found this helpful, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next Tech Talk.